Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's Walk to Wellness. I just want to say a massive thank you for everyone that is tuning in to join us today. So on today's walk, myself and Coach Nat are going to be going through the news as a result of last night's speech by the Prime Minister, the lockdown timeline and the restrictions being lifted. So lots of stuff to get excited about and talk about today. Let me just say a quick hello to Nat. How are you, Nat?
I am fabulous today, Josh. It's good to see you.
Amazing. Likewise. Fun fact, guys, me and Nat have been working together since November last year, and we have never actually met in person as a result of this lockdown and everything, which I'm sure a lot of people can relate to. So one day, Nat, we will have this walk in person together. But before we get into the main conversation, guys, there's just going to be a little bit of information from our community manager, Pip, who will tell you a little bit more info and then answer some questions at the end to present to us. So quickly over to you, Pip.
Thank you, Josh. Hi, everyone. First of all, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone that's been walking with us so far to help raise money for the Trussell Trust through the Sweatcoin app, and to all the amazing guests we've had walk with us as well, who have helped inspire us all through this lockdown. You can still clock up your steps today using the Sweatcoin app, and every coin you earn and choose to donate to the Trussell Trust will help contribute to the 241,000 meals we've been able to help provide to families in lockdown. So thank you so much to everyone who's got involved so far. That really is an incredible achievement. Our housekeeping rules for today are: please remember you should not travel outside your local area while walking, and be mindful of your route while you're watching your phone. If you have any questions for Nat and Josh, please write them in the chat and we'll do our best to get them answered a little later. These walks are live, so we apologise if there are any signal issues, but we'll bring our coaches back together as soon as possible. Over to you guys.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Pip. Just a note to anyone, if you aren't able to get out on the walk outside, please feel free to have a little walk around your house or in your garden, wherever you've got some space today, so you can get a little bit of activity in. Anyways, Nat, how are you feeling? How are you feeling as a result of everything that got announced yesterday, to start off?
I'm good. It's I feel good. Obviously, I think, and I'm sure a lot of people might be feeling like this. There are some mixed emotions, I'm excited though. I am excited, but just trying to stay present and not think too far ahead. Given, just to be a little cautious, stay a little mindful, stay a little present. There's mixed emotions, but I'd say I'm really good and I'm excited. And, the weather in London is really fabulous. For anyone that's in London, I'm sure you will agree, there's definitely a new energy in the air. You can feel spring. The news was good, even though we still have a few months left of, how things are now. I think it's really awesome that we have some timeline in sight. And I'm sure that's given a lot of people, hopefully, peace of mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what we were talking about a bit earlier, is it's the unknown that is kind of like one of the most challenging things, because we've all been in this situation for nearly a year now, right? And we've had different timelines, and then we've gone back into lockdowns, and we've had a little bit of restrictions lifted. And it's just that not knowing when we can do certain things again and begin to plan our lives and get out of this sort of limbo state of living and look forward to booking stuff and seeing people we haven't seen in ages, and all of that good stuff we've been missing out on for nearly a year. So what was your kind of feeling before the announcement, and how did you feel kind of after? Was it like a feeling of elation, like, oh, I can relax now, or are you still a bit apprehensive?
So
how did you feel?
To be honest, I kind of made a bit of a deal with myself at the beginning of the year to not listen to the news too much. So nice. I've just been trying to stay focused, be present, focus on myself and my health and my wellness, because it's a situation that to date has completely been out of our control. So before the news, I was like, whatever happens, I'm feeling good as I am. So if it's new, like either way, I'm going to be okay, and I think what's an important thing, if we were to kind of turn the topic of the conversation to that idea of like reflecting, even though I know last year and this year, you know, I think everyone has had really varied experiences, but ultimately we're going to come out of it, you know. And so it's important to kind of, if you are feeling a little bit anxious by the news or the sort of imminent changes of going back into normalcy, it's also important to kind of take a look back and say, well, we adjusted to this new weird normal, meaning we can adjust back to our original normal, which will probably be a little bit different, but I'm sure, and I'm hoping different in good ways, you know. I know we were talking about a lot of companies are hopefully giving people a bit more flexibility for those who've actually really enjoyed working from home to continue working from home. So I think, you know, we should all try to remain hopeful that we're going to be moving into hopefully a better new existence. But so I'm feeling good. But of course, like, it comes with mixed emotions. As humans, we adapt so quickly, don't we? We can change our behaviors so quickly. And so I've gotten used to this new normal. And because I've gotten used to this new normal, I'm like thinking, oh, what's the future going to be like? But at the same time, and Josh, I'm keen to hear your take on this, because I know you're very much into mindfulness and meditation. And I know a lot of, in practicing that, which I definitely need to do more. So, but in practicing that, you know, the suggestion or the sort of and correct me if I'm wrong, but the goal is to obviously remain present and not worry about the future, because the future is out of our control. It's not really going to achieve anything. So be interesting to hear from your perspective, and to maybe like give people who might be feeling anxious as well about these changes tips on how to stay present and how to deal with that, because I'm feeling it a little bit as well. So I would love to hear your take on it.
Yeah, absolutely, of course. I mean, for me, it's making things simple and just focusing on the process and the present rather than the outcome that we want, and thinking too far ahead, which is obviously real tough when we've been in a situation where we can't do a lot and we're looking forward to certain things we can't do, right? Hence why the news probably brought a lot of excitement to people, because there was some hope they could do them again. However, when I look at this near year-long lockdown, give or take a few months of freedom, but still not properly free, I look back on how I've handled each stage and the different things I put in place to work on that I could control, which again is obviously easier said than done. But the first few months of the lockdown last year, I was like, right, I'm just going to focus on getting into a good routine in terms of my training. You know, that's a real simple goal in terms of activity. And then I thought, all right, so training's going well, I can control that, I've got a good structure. Now what can I add to that so that, you know, I keep going on this momentum? So I thought, all right, well, why don't I put a little bit more effort into, you know, trying to learn some more and read some more, and just focus on those little goals rather than, oh, I feel like I really want to do loads and, you know, I'm expecting a lot out of myself, is a much simpler way to take it. So with regards to people coming out of the restrictions and coming out of the lockdown, there's going to be an urge to want to do a lot and do everything. And I'm guilty of thinking like that as well. I can't wait to see friends and go on holiday and see music and stuff. But I'm going to rein it in and go, right, let's just focus on doing one thing that I haven't been able to do for a while and look forward to that. And not only does that allow ourselves to be more patient with us, it will help with maybe some of that anxiety that you've touched on, where we know we're going to have a bit of freedom, but also we're quite comfortable and we've gotten used to our routines. So let's not rush this. It's not going to be a race in any way, shape or form. We know we've got a long way ahead of us, but at least we have something to look forward to. So my ultimate advice is just kind of focus on the one thing that you're looking forward to doing.
No, I think that's sorry, after you.
That should simplify things, make you be a bit more present and thinking of all these different things, and also not make it feel so overwhelming and anxious when we do start to come out of this restriction and we are a lot freer. So
yeah, no, that's great advice. And I like how you said, you know, let's not rush it, because it's absolutely true. Like as soon as the news came in, and you know, my mind starts going crazy, and I'm like, oh, what am I going to do, and where am I going to work from, and what like where am I going to go train, and what holiday do I want to go on? And it was like this crazy flood of thoughts and emotions, and my mind was literally going wild. And I was like, oh my gosh, Natalie, stop, like take a deep breath, slow down. Like, firstly, it's not happening right now, and secondly, even when it does happen, I know for a lot of us, again, it's been a challenging year, but I am sure that most people have found at least some silver lining, right? I'm sure we have changed some of our behaviors in a really positive way. I, for example, never, ever thought I could work out at home before this all happened. I was like, no way, I will never work out at home. I will only work out at the gym or at a studio. And now I work out at home all the time and actually really enjoy it. It saves me time and it saves me money, right? So I don't necessarily, like, I want to hold on to a lot of the things that I've learned and changed from lockdown. And I remember, like, as you touched on those few months of freedom that we had last year, we were so excited that we kind of got out of lockdown and I didn't really hold on to any of the stuff that I'd learned or did. I was cooking so much in the beginning, and then second lockdown, I was only going out to restaurants. I wasn't working out as much, and I want to learn from that break and take into the new one, okay, this next phase, that I want to hold on to some of the changes that I've made during lockdown, because I feel really good for a lot of the changes I've made, and I don't want to lose those. So, like, I love your what you're saying, like, don't rush it. You know, hopefully we have the rest of our lives to do the things that we want to do, and we don't have to do it all at once, and we don't have to let go of the good things that we can take from the last year.
Absolutely. So the kind of, like, I guess the good things we have been able to draw from this lockdown, the habits we put in place, the routines, are something that we can continue to do for ourselves as things start to lift. There's no reason those things should lift just because everything else lifts. You know, we shouldn't just put aside nearly a year's worth of good work, because in a way, where we've only had time and we have had no choice but to be with ourselves more and concentrate on keeping things very limited, it has enabled, at least from my perspective, me to do a lot of work on myself, on prioritizing sleep, on learning to cook better and eat better, and think about training in a smarter way. As you said, the limitations being working out from home, you've now started to enjoy it. So there's a lot that I have learned in this lockdown, put into practice, that even when things start to lift, they're still going to continue. And I think it's important for everyone to remember that although it's not been a great time with the restrictions, there are benefits that we can look at. And it's what has actually got me through, is those small wins, those little things that we can continue to take into the future as things start to lift, and just complement them with the things we weren't able to do. And I think bring together in a way, this sounds weird, bring together the best bits of what we discovered and we made happen during lockdown into a place when things are lifted. And I think it's going to be, that's the way I'm looking forward to it. And I think that's going to be a really good place to be.
No, I fully agree with you.
The working from home one is a really interesting one, because I think a lot of people are going to be thinking about, you know, how it's going to look with their work and life balance as things open up, you know, the expectation to go back into offices or not, working from home more and more. How do you feel it's going to, obviously we have remote roles anyhow, so it's kind of going to be not too much of a change for us, but for people who might be feeling, you know, I'm not too sure about going back into the office as full-time as I was before. How do you reckon that's going to play out with, you know, employers and restrictions lifting and stuff like that?
Well, I mean, just from having spoken to, you know, various people here and there, and people who work at all different sorts of companies, the general consensus is that it's quite mixed, right? Some people, like, I'm so excited for, I don't have children, but I'm so excited for parents who've had to work from home and homeschool. I'm so excited for them to have some of their freedom and time back. Like, you know, and I think there's so many different scenarios of, depends on your personality, it depends on where you live, on your on your life setup as to whether you're going to be kind of raring to go to get back into the office, or if you're going to feel a little bit of like trepidation, or if you're going to not want to do it at all, or if you want to do it like half. I just hope, and obviously we don't know the answers yet, but from speaking to a few people, it sounds as if companies are very open to this more flexible working approach, because people have realized that it works, that people can be trusted. We've got the technology to make it work. And I just hope that from this lockdown, people get to live their lives in a way that suits them above anything else, above, the company, above other people. Do what suits them, but still obviously ensure that there's productivity and, things are happening. But I think it's an exciting thing. And I hope that for those who are excited to go back, I hope they get to go back. And for those who want to have more flexibility, get more flexibility. Like for me, I've always worked from home. So I'm happy with my current setup, For me, the working from home thing isn't what's on my mind so much. I don't know what's on my mind so much, to be honest. It's just a general mix of emotions.
Still processing it, but which might be a very
still
normal thing to be like, because I think, as you said, it's normal to maybe feel a bit of elation from yesterday, but then also feel a bit of anxiety, or the reverse, and it goes the other way. You feel anxious then excited then anxious, and all of it.
I lost an AirPod. Sorry, I'm just.
Oh, sorry. You okay?
And I get scared to touch them now because I did one of these, and I accidentally swiped my AirPod and I bumped myself out of the live. So
you're all good now. You're still here.
I just want to make sure I don't do that.
No, you're all good. You're all good. But yeah, the mix of emotions is definitely going to be a thing that everyone's going through at some point, for sure.
Yeah. It's I think we should take this time that we've got, because in the past we never, things happen so quickly. It went from like, we're out of lockdown, now we're back in lockdown. And I think what's interesting about what we have now is that we have time. Okay, we have, let's say it is the 12th of April, where things start to open. That's what, 6 weeks away, a little more than 6 weeks. So what can we do with the next 6 weeks, okay, to get ourselves ready, to have a plan in action, to allow us to start, processing this potential change and making plans. And on that topic, I think it's really important to talk about goal setting, because the same way when we went into lockdown, okay, we were so thrown into it. And I think it took a lot of time for people to process it. But I'm sure for those people who started setting goals and actually changed things up and did things differently, they turned it into something positive. And I think we have the very same opportunity here. What goals do we want to set to ensure that when we enter this sort of new world, and it is going to be a new world, that, like we said before, we hold on to some things that we've learned from this lockdown. We take the good bits, we put it forward, but what else do we want to do? Who else do we want to become? How else do we want to change? I was just thinking about it today. Like I haven't set my goals yet, but this news has definitely inspired me I want to sit down and I want to take a notebook and I want to think about what I want and how I'm going to get it and what I want life to be like. Have you set any new goals for the rest of the year? Like, where are you at on that topic?
Yeah, it's so funny you mentioned that, because I actually started writing them yesterday and a little bit on Sunday. I just happened to get a new journal, and I like to journal a lot anyway. And obviously, as a result of everything that happened and everything that was said, I was very inspired to start writing some goals and some things I want to make happen. And I'll be honest, essentially the number one thing on my list is going to be to travel as soon as possible, which is definitely going to be much different than it was before, in terms of the freedom and ease of getting into places, and still have to be very cautious. But I think that was number one on my list as something that I really want to be able to do as soon as is the case. And then secondly, it would be to get back into my regular training, what I was doing before the lockdown. So I was attending a CrossFit gym and learning a lot of the skills and drills there. So that's going to be like more of a physical goal. And yeah, those are kind of like the main two as the things I've missed and I want to get focusing on as soon as possible, really. So
yeah.
How about you? Have you any spring to mind?
Well, I'm also, you know, as much as I'm thinking about goals that I want to set for when we get out, I'm also very much thinking about the time that we have specifically now. So is there anything that I want to achieve now and get into place before we actually, and then reassess and kind of have goals that can be ongoing? And I think I do definitely want to set myself for the next 6 weeks while I have time to, be at home more and cook more and prepare my own food, which I do a lot anyway. But then, of course, we get busy. And lately, I've definitely been resorting to ordering more takeouts because I'm a bit busy. And so what I want for the next 6 weeks, at least, is to really make sure that I am at home, cooking more, really in control of what I'm making healthy, wholesome, delicious food. And I want to have a clearer fitness plan in place. And I don't know exactly what it is yet, but I kind of want to, I want to use this time that I've got to just really like go to sleep early, wake up super early, work out, as much as I can, eat really well, and just to make sure on a physical level, right, that I, at least if I come out of this lockdown and I'm feeling a little bit anxious, which I'm trying to take control of now anyway, but if I am, at the very least, on a physical level, because the physical is so connected to the mental, that at least on the physical level, I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling well rested. I'm feeling ready. I'm feeling strong. I'm feeling healthy. So I want this, like, immediately. My goals are very sort of health focused. And I think for coming out of the lockdown, my goal, as we discussed before, in terms of taking the good bits over the last year, my goal is to make sure that I really do that. And so I want to look at each week, and I don't want to be out every night. I don't want to be out 4 times a week. I don't even want to be out 3 times a week or twice a week. Okay. I want to see my friends and I want to do things, but maybe my goal is to actually, choose the nights where I want to socialize, be structured with Josh, I love traveling as well. I love it. My family is all over the world and I'm desperate to travel again, but I also want to be a little bit more structured with my holidays and really switch off and the kind of holidays that I want to go on. I think I want to choose some more like relaxing holidays. There's a lot to think about. I'm still processing it. You're a step ahead of me with the journal because I haven't done any of it yet, but I do know for now, like this very moment, I want the next few months to be very very health led. Yeah,
I really like the way you've put your priorities there on yourself and your health, being something to work on right now immediately, which is again something we can all do. We have, in a way, we've had control of this most of the time. All right, we can control the training, we can control the eating, we control the resting and the sleeping to a degree. Yes, some of the more mental and social aspects of our health have been restricted and limited, and I think that's probably what is harder to replicate in the situation, right? You can't replicate as much how good it is to see someone in person, to see all your friends and family as a whole again in one space. We've done the best we can with Zoom and technology, but I think, at the end of the day, we're social animals, we're social creatures. We are not meant to be this isolated for this long. And I think that is what, at least for me, was really getting fatiguing towards, nearing the year point. And it's just been some really welcome news, I think. Even though it's a potential plan, even though dates might change, as I said in the beginning, it's just not having that limbo anymore. So he's looking forward to a great British summer. Not to quote the PM, but you never know.
And and before you kind of sign it off, because I did just have one thing that came to me, and as I'm going to say it now, it's gotten super windy, but as I was just thinking about it, I think I do have an intention for the new world, okay? And it's balance. Because I actually find that I'm way more balanced in lockdown than I am when I'm released out into the world, okay? I love to drink wine with my friends. I love to do it all, but I want to find that balance, right? Where I can still socialize, but I can still focus on my health. And that's not a very clear goal yet, but I'm working on it. So if anyone else feels like that, I think finding balance is key, right? And giving yourself time to rest, giving yourself time to socialize in new and different ways. So
love that. Balance is the main thing. It's a really good one. I like that, honestly. Sorry, no, I'd love to continue talking about this, but I'm aware we are nearly at the end. So do we have any questions from anyone for the last few minutes?
Hi guys. Yes, absolutely. First of all, Sam would like to know how we can help people who are worried about the timeline that we have ahead of us now, as it's almost feels like a deadline and there's a fear of failing to achieve something by then. Do you have any advice?
That's a really good one. First of all, those deadlines aren't your deadlines. All right, so just because those timelines exist with stuff opening in theory from what's been announced, they don't necessarily need to apply to you. Okay, you set your own timelines, your own deadlines, and they're for no one else, right? That's just for you to work on. And secondly, no need for any kind of comparison whatsoever. Your own goals, and that's all you need to focus on, your journey, no one else's.
Yeah.
One for both of you from Faye. Have you guys started to think about the first thing you're going to do when we are indeed released into the world?
Go on that.
Let's see. I'm probably going to go to my favorite Thai restaurant in Soho called Kiln, and I'm going to order a really spicy curry and have a glass of wine with my husband.
That's a good one. I will, as soon as we can, get my big group of friends together who I used to go to school with, and we will meet up somewhere in London, no more than 6 of us, of course, and just have a social, probably in a local park, because just that feeling of all your old school friends in one place together is fantastic, and it's been a long time since we had that. So that's gonna be me.
Yeah, nice. I'm quite surprised neither of you said a haircut. Not that you need it.
I take it back. I need to get my cut and my color done, actually, Pip. So I'll have a curry afterwards.
All in the same day.
Yeah, I just kind of got used to it now. It's just growing and growing. I might just keep it, just see how it goes.
Nice. And one more finally, just for the two of you. What lockdown habits do you think you'll keep up when we do go back to normal or the new normal?
Josh, after you.
So I've been really getting into my cooking with my family every single week, so I'm going to keep that up. And morning mobility routine, which is just to work on some flexibility and some stretching stuff that I've been doing for nearly a year now, since the first lockdown. So yeah, cooking and mobility.
Nice. I wake up really early now, and I didn't really used to do it that much before. So that's definitely something that I'm going to hold on to. Long walks, really long walks, and waking up early.
Amazing.
I don't know.
Thanks, Nat.
Thank you. Do we have any more? Oh, no, Josh is back. I thought we lost you, Josh.
Yeah, I thought you guys lost me as well. It cut out for a minute. But sorry, it's incredibly windy here. So if you can't see me, if you can't hear me too well, this is why. Anyways, Pip, is that all the questions we have?
One more that's just come in, actually. Is there anything that you wish you guys started which you didn't, like learning a language? I always say that.
That's a really good one.
I actually would have liked to I would have liked to paint. I would have liked to learn how to paint or do some more like creative stuff, some more like, stuff with my hands aside from cooking. I cook a lot. But I would have liked to learn a bit of drawing skills, I'd say. That's me.
That's a very good one, the creative one. You know what, I do think about this, but if I'm honest, I am very happy with everything I did put into place for learning. So if there is anything I want to learn, I will just put it onto something moving forward. But I don't look back and think, oh, I wish I'd have learned that. I just think I'm happy with what I have learned, and I did put the work into and did put the time into. So yeah, I actually don't have an answer for that one. All good.
I like your answer. I like that. I like that attitude.
Yeah, no regrets, right? Amazing. Right. Well, thank you, Pip. Thank you, Nat, and honestly, everyone that has joined in with us today and over the past couple of months. Just thank you so much for joining us in these walk to wellnesses. Getting out and about and getting moving together is the main thing. Now, if you do want any more of content like this, you want to find out anything more about myself, Nat, the other coach, Coach Kath, please do check out the D360 platform and the WW app. We do daily content and posts for you guys, and there are many, many walks in the forms of audio, podcasts, other guided walks as well. So please do check those out if you would like to see more about what we have to offer. Anyways, Nat, it's been a pleasure. Everyone that's joined,
Josh, I love that.
Enjoy the rest of your Tuesdays, and we will see you very soon.